Right now, it is 3:24, and we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It remains in the same area as what we were previously just talking about for Tama County. I do just want to kind of show this broad view, though, of multiple warnings have been lining up. Some additional thunderstorms that have been developing. You see some of the red boxes are tornado warnings. The orange boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. And the latest one that has come in is now for Tama County here. And this storm is coming in just coming on west of Highway 63 and is for hail that is over quarter size. We're talking $half, perhaps up to ping pong size. And we've already seen actually multiple of these storms produce some very large hail. And the storm that is to the north here that is heading into some of our far northwestern counties have produced some large hail already. We have some video of this too from around Ames and around Centerville, which is a storm to the north, which has been producing some hail has been literally covering the ground. This is from Rod Donovan, who actually works at the National Weather Service in Des Moines, and it looks like it's snowing. That is hail, and this is from Centerville, Iowa, where they were seeing baseball-sized hail, and that storm is drawing closer to Keokuk County as well. So very large hail associated with these thunderstorms so far, and I will go back to radar and show that storm, which is moving out of the Centerville area towards Ottumwa. It does also have a tornado warning on it. It would head toward Sigourney, and if it continues on its path, we'd be talking about arriving in the Sigourney area close to 3:45 to 4 p.m., and we could be experiencing some large hail with that storm if it persists, and watching the tornado threat with it as well. We don't have any tornado warnings currently. We do have the watch. This storm, though, that is moving toward Tama County and right west of Iowa County is where we also find meteorologist Nick Stewart, who is in the Road Warrior. And Nick, right now, you have been just watching these storms draw closer. What is it looking like out there, and what can we expect as the storm moves closer?
Yeah, actually, that new severe thunderstorm warning, that does include Tama County. We are right in the path of this storm right now. It is slowly coming in from the southwest. We have warm temperatures. We got high dew points and a strong southeasterly wind. That southeast wind important because it provides more spin to the low levels of the atmosphere. We'll send you outside. Here's a live view of that storm. We're near the Malcolm area, looking off to the southwest, just south of I-80, right near, that would be Highway 63. And this is what the storm looks like right now. You can kind of see these clouds that are wrapping in just above the wind turbines. That is a sign of some strengthening low-level flow. Notice those clouds going in from the left to the right. That is flowing into that storm, a sign that the storm is still intensifying. And we can't see it quite yet, but just beyond that house there on the horizon, that would be the base of the storm. And that would be the area of interest if the storm continues to intensify. Remember, we are under that PDS watch, that particularly dangerous situation tornado watch. So any of these storms have the potential of producing tornadoes. Right now, we're looking very closely on the radar view, and it does appear that the storm is spinning just a little bit anyway. Just taking a look at the current conditions here where we are in Malcolm. Let me try that again. There we go. Current temperature is 66 degrees, dew point at 54, and that southeast wind again, that is the problem. That's what drives in the lower level wind shear, and that's why we're watching this very closely. We'll keep an eye on the storm as it moves closer to eastern Iowa, and we have our options open to keep jumping on more storms as they continue to fire in southern Iowa. Rebecca?
Yeah, and as Nick was mentioning, there is some rotation with the storm. So there's Tama here. Nick is around the Brooklyn area, I believe just went west of there. And you can definitely see some of these brighter reds here with the storm, indicating some strong winds. And then if you look further down to the south of Sully and kind of near the Pella area, then you can see there's some of that spin where the green and red is meeting up. And so when we start to see those areas there where we have the bright reds and the bright greens, that's usually indicating some sort of rotation that's ongoing. Now, that could mean that there's hail being produced, or it could also mean that there is the possibility of a tornado, especially as that rotation is getting closer to the surface. And there have been already reports of tornadoes, and there have actually, unfortunately, been some violent tornadoes today. One in Little Rock, Arkansas, and there has been a lot of destruction there as a tornado came on through. They're also under this high risk for today, so just telling of the parameters that are in place that leads the potential for these strong storms and the possibility of strong tornadoes as well. So this currently does not have a tornado warning on it, but there's certainly some areas of rotation and some strong winds that could lead to that potential that it could produce a tornado, could potentially see a tornado warning get issued. But meteorologist Nick Stewart right on that storm right now, and he's going to continue to track it. This severe thunderstorm warning, case if we can go back to the reflectivity, is out until 4 p.m. And if we can show a portion of Tama County as well and just zoom out a little bit more, there we go. This would be heading toward the Tama area and then into portions of northwest Iowa County and then eventually toward Benton County as well as it continues. So yeah, we'll put a fan on that and you can see it as it goes out to the south, to the north and east. So Tama close to about 340, Dysart close to 425, Belle Plaine, Brandon between 430 and 520 there. And so the area of concern would kind of be down here to the south. You can almost see this little notch, too, on the reflectivity where we're also seeing that rotation showing up. So that would indicate there's some wind flowing in to the storm, and then we could see that rotation occur, and that's where the possibility would be if a tornado were to form. So something certainly to keep an eye on, and if it happens, meteorologist Nick Stewart's right there to bring it to you live and show you the situation. And unfortunately, with the parameters that we do have in place, it's concerning for that threat of tornadoes. A particularly dangerous situation watch has been issued, which is typically done for a rare situation in which the environment is set up to allow for violent and long-lived tornadoes. So you can see Nick walking by there, keeping an eye on this storm, and hard to see a lot of structure to it at the moment. It's still a little bit further away, but when he was zooming in, you could certainly see some of the inflow into the storm, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that as it does draw closer. So you can see him on the map just away from the thunderstorm there on I-80, and as soon as anything happens, he'll be letting us know. Let's go to a broader look area right now. We have this one that goes out until 4 p.m. and then there was one that was earlier for Grundy County. That storm kind of tracked a little bit further to the north, but producing a lot of hail around Ames. And then we also have these thunderstorms that are going to start to move in near and just south of I-80. So Sigourney and Iowa and Keokuk counties here could be up next with those, but we're going to be watching for Tama and portions of Benton, Iowa counties for these next thunderstorms to move in. Currently, no tornado warnings, but a tornado watch, a particularly dangerous situation, PDS watch, is out until 8 p.m. So as we continue to watch these parameters and continue to watch these thunderstorms, unfortunately, we could be dealing with a tornado situation as well. These storms are also moving very fast today, around 50 miles per hour. So once a warning is issued, you could quickly see a situation where they're moving in to your town. So you want to make sure that you're taking shelter immediately as those warnings come in. They may be a bit broader like this one is, where we have a lot of area in between before the storm arrives. That's because the Weather Service is trying to give us some lead time. Kaysen and Garrett are in the Weather Center here. Do we have any reports of any new additional reports that have come in with these storms?
Not that I'm seeing initially. I've been kind of popping back and forth a little bit. You were seeing something at all, Casey?
They were just continuing to see some rotation there on that.
So the Weather Service is monitoring that potential.
Yeah, just down to our south there.
Yeah, and the one that they're looking at primarily is that one over by the Ottumwa area that has shown some signs of rotation recently. The hard part about this little particular cell is, especially if you pull that back a little bit, something that's been really, really difficult with this thing, at least to kind of point out what we were trying to find, is this little spike there you're seeing there. That's an indication of a large amount of hail that's in there. It's known as a hail reflectivity spike, as the beam kind of bounces all over the place because of the lofted hail in the area. But what kind of draws a little bit of uncertainty with that is where that rotation has been constantly showing up is right along that hail spike over the past couple of scans are there. So you can see that little spike pop up pointing towards Drakesville a little bit there, but that's, again, part of the hail spike, still showing some signs of rotation, hence the tornado warning, but for the most part, it at least has started to lose its hail nature, I guess, a little bit. That's the word we're going to use for this. But it does look a little more promising.
And this one was producing those baseballs, the baseball-sized hail. So this would be coming into Keokuk County if it holds together. So you're certainly seeing these bright greens and bright reds here, and that is where they meet. We're talking about that's where rotation would lie. This is going to be certainly an area of concern. Did they say anything there?
Storm near Ottumwa shows good structure and rotation. Storm approaching southwest Powashik County.
So still nothing new. So this would be actually, you can see the polygon is kind of funky here. This would be a new area for the Weather Service. So this actually goes from the National Weather Service in Des Moines to National Weather Service in the Quad Cities. So the Quad Cities probably analyzing this. It is possible we could see this tornado warning get issued into Keokuk County, and this would be near and just south of Sigourney and Hayesville. And so we're talking about Compantine, which is just the south of Keokuk County, around 349, that's okay. And then Richland would be in the path of this, near Hendrick, Keota, within the next basically 30 minutes if it continues on its path here. So that would be to the southeast of Sigourney. Currently no confirmed tornado, but there is a tornado warning on this cell, and so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Certainly there is rotation with it. And if we can go back to the broad view of the storms there, and just one more time, we'll show that Tama County storm as well. So that one coming into Tama County has some rotation with it. Large hail would be an issue here, and then there we go. So here we are. Now we have the tornado warning that has been put out as we were just speaking about, and so this includes now Sigourney, Keota, Richland, Hayesville, Hendrick, and portions of Washington County as well. And it's the area of concern right here for the rotation is just near Ottumwa. It's going to be moving to the north and east. And this is until 4:15. On top of that, hail size of 2.75. And so we were talking about, is that still around baseball-sized hail? Baseball-sized hail still possible with this storm. Currently, no confirmation of a tornado. But Garrett, do we have anything from the Weather Service? I don't know if we have any particulars on this. Can we get Garrett's mic on, please?
I guess it's not up. There
we
it is.
Go.
Yeah, for the most part, it doesn't look like they have anything indicated now that you're switching offices to DVN, or Quad City, sorry. For the most part, yeah, they said capable of producing about 8 miles northeast of Ottumwa, moving northeast at 65. That's about all they have, kind of just tornadic looking.
How fast do you think it's moving?
Northwest at 65, or northeast, sorry.
65 miles per hour.
Yeah, so they're moving.
Okay, so let's put a fan on this. So this is around Ottumwa where we're watching this area of concern. This warning includes Sigourney. The rotation is likely going to stay away from Sigourney as the motion of the storm is currently. So that's something I want you to keep in mind. But we are going to see this move to the north and east of Highway 149, but could potentially cross Highway 149 as it moves into Keokuk County, and then kind of south of Highway 92, and then we have Keota and Richland in the path of this, and this could be just west of Richland. It's going to be highly dependent on when this comes on through, and then that would be close to Richland area 355. This is moving incredibly fast. So this was our concern with these storms the entire time, of how fast they're going to be moving. So I know that it looks like it's a bit of a distance away. The radar is not completely in time. So these storms are going to be moving very fast. There's a lot of rain with them, potentially some large hail, and could be producing to portions of Keokuk County here. And outside of where that rotation is, then we can see the hail with that storm too, that is on the north side of Ottumwa right now. So we also do have still this severe thunderstorm warning that's up to the north, and meteorologist Nick Stewart is out on I-80, has been keeping an eye on this storm, and we can certainly see some inflow with that storm as well. Nick, what are you seeing with this storm as it's approaching your location?
Yeah, right now we are watching this severe thunderstorm that is approaching Tama County. It is intensifying rapidly as well. I will tell you that visually we're seeing a lot more lightning with this storm, and also visually, here's a look at the storm right now. There's a lot of big lowering that's starting to develop there. It's a little lost in the haze. We're losing a little bit of visibility to maybe some precipitation between us. But what you can tell is that there's certainly a base developing with this storm. Radar view, there's a classic-looking hook echo on this storm as well, so we know the storm is definitely supercellular in nature. And when looking at the velocity view, we're watching a pretty broad area of rotation that's slowly intensifying. We're near Malcolm. It's just off to our south and west. I wouldn't be surprised if this storm starts doing kind of what that other storm off to our east starts doing as well, because visually speaking, it's getting a lot more impressive here within about the last 2 to 3 minutes. And I can tell you just the most recent radar scan as well. I'm sure you guys are looking at it in the studio. Good couplet now developing there right near Highway 146 near Searsboro. So the environment here certainly capable of producing multiple storms that can produce tornadoes, and that's kind of what we're looking at here right near the Malcolm area and Interstate 80 and US 63.
Yeah, Nick, I'm definitely seeing that on radar here. So you can see that where Nick is currently, he's looking toward this storm here, and you can see the bright green and the reds. And so that is where we're seeing that, what he referred to as a couplet. So that is where we're seeing this potential spin ongoing, which is likely broad at the moment and perhaps not quite at the ground just yet. But that is where there'd be the possibility of a tornado. And Kaysen, you just said the Weather Service is monitoring that?
Yeah, this has been one of the storms there that they are continuing to monitor here and are just kind of continuing to track out to see if they want to kind of advance that warning, but obviously just a severe thunderstorm warning for right now.
So this is including Tama County, but if that were to be extended, this would include then portions of Iowa County and potentially Benton County and parts of Tama County as well. I don't want to discount the hail issue too, because there has been some very large hail reported with some of these storms, and the concern though would be with this area right here, the southwest of Montezuma, and we're going to keep an eye on that advancing to the north and east. Garrett, if we can go back down to the Ottumwa storm, down to the south, and this...
see if we can get a cleaner picture on here.
Yeah, it might be just between the radars. So I still have that area of spin here that's continuing to push to the north. You can see how quickly this has been now moving to the north. And Mike and the booth, you said you had some photos from around this area, so around Ottumwa. So we can see there looks to be some lowering of the clouds there. It's very hard to see some of the structure with these storms, but certainly there's a potential that we do have an Ottumwa camera too popped up, but it's a little hard to see the structure with that as well. There's some, yeah, let's take our sky cam. So there's the Ottumwa camera, and you can certainly see some lowering of the clouds there.
Yeah, it's quickly rotating too a little bit.
And it's rotating.
That tornado confirmed.
So they've, and that's possible that what we're seeing right there is that as a tornado touching down.
Most likely, yes.
There we go. So, can you get me on the wall here with the camera, with our sky cam? So you can really see the rotation on the Ottumwa camera right now. So tornado confirmed, which is just around the Ottumwa area, just northeast of Ottumwa. So you can see the lowering that's happened there, as well as the potential for that being the tornado that's right there. So they're saying confirmed. Kate, are we getting any information from the Weather Service about it?
Yes, they have confirmed it as well. We'll give kind of a specific location, located near Hedrick, 8 miles northeast of Ottumwa, and this thing is cruising northeast at around 55 miles per hour. You can see that on your camera. There is all the proof in the world as that thing looks like it's continuing to build and even get a little bit bigger here over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, so this is the sky cam that's looking at Ottumwa. You can see the intense rotation now going on. So we were trying to kind of catch our bearings and take a look at what this camera was doing. But you can see the rotation going in here. So confirmed tornado now near Ottumwa. And this is to the northeast. They're heading into Keokuk County right now. If you were in southern Keokuk County near Hendrick, you need to be taking shelter right now as there is a tornado on the ground. And you can see some of the intense rotation. It's a little hard to see, but if you're looking right here at these clouds, you can see the rotation ongoing with this tornado right now near Ottumwa. If we can go back, Garrett, you have it up on, we can go back to the radar on Max 1 here, and we can look at the latest scans with the velocity and the track of that storm. This is tornado warning, confirmed tornado for Keokuk County.
It looks like the majority of that tornado warning that pushes into Keokuk and a little bit into Washington County too does include the tornado confirmed tag along with that.
Okay, so let's go to the velocities here. And so here's Ottumwa, the camera that we're looking at, looking to the northeast, just south of Hendrick, and getting close to Highway 149. And this is in between, perhaps this is Highway 78, Richland and Hendrick is where this is until 4 p.m., confirmed tornado, and heading to the north and east. We are going to keep a close eye on how close it gets to Sigourney, depending on its exact track here. Can we put a fan on that? And how fast is the storm moving? The Weather Service was saying earlier around 60 miles per hour. Yeah,
I think we're still at around 65, but we're still, let me get the right track there for you. Sorry, I was trying to find the sky cam to pop up along with that.
Yeah, I know there's not a ton of the cameras down this way, but the rotation would be just kind of coming in east of Hendrick and heading to the north and east. You can pop that up right now. We can see a photo of the tornado. This is from around Ottumwa right now. And you can see tornado on the ground there, and just some dust and such probably getting kicked up. But there's been a lot of rotation. We can even see just on our sky camera from Ottumwa as well. And this is now moving into Keokuk County right now. And this is a look from our Ottumwa camera, so it's moving a bit further away, so it's a bit harder to see. We're seeing some pretty intense rotation, though, and it might just be getting too far away now at this point.
Yeah, but they haven't been tracking too long. It's still it's somewhere
you can see
in that little bubble.
This is where the lowering is, and the tornado would be somewhere in here. So let's go back to the radar and time out that storm once again. But this is for Keokuk County, confirmed tornado on the ground. And if you are between Hendrick and, I'm losing another town right now, but you want to make sure that you are in your safe place, Richland. There we go. And this, on top of that, could be producing some large hail. The storm has a history of producing baseball-sized hail. And they're still saying that there could be around penny to perhaps quarter-size hail with this storm, and going to continue to move toward Highway 149 and perhaps just east of Sigourney is where this would be. Let's go back to the velocity and see what the latest scans are looking like there.
All right, and yeah, and you're still kind of in between the two radars. You can see how quickly it kind of snaps back and forth as you're still pretty lofted, actually. I do believe we are still looking at the radar picture at about, what is that, 7,600 feet in the air. So
well, because that's, are you getting that from the Des Moines radar?
Yeah, just kind of giving an estimate.
Further away.
Yeah, so that's something to be at least weary of as well. But yeah, certainly a pretty significant signature from that one. That has taken a while to at least get itself developed enough to at least have this kind of a signature for the time being.
And if the tornado is still on the ground, it would be crossing into Keokuk County right now.
And so we can switch, see a little bit of that.
This would be heading toward, that's 180th Avenue, Martinsburg, Highway 149, near and east of Hendrick, Ollie. Let's keep going to the north here and see if there are any little smaller towns weren't showing up before. Lancaster, Hayesville, Harper, Keota. It's getting into Washington County, right on the county line. So this is going to move in rather quickly. If a tornado is still on the ground, then it will be doing damage. We also have heavy rain and hail ongoing with this storm here. So Lancaster around 3:58. That's about 10 minutes from now. So now is the time to get into your safe place and not try and see where the tornado is. Keota would be 4:09. Kinross would be within the next about 25 minutes. So just some reminders, of course, that you want to make sure that you are in lower levels of your home. If it's a basement, if it's just the first floor, if you don't have a basement, you want to make sure it's an interior room without windows, and the bathroom, the laundry room, whatever that may be, and just make sure that you can continue to hear information and then wait for the all clear to happen. Don't rely on the sirens. For other people watching in other parts of the area, this is just the beginning of what could be multiple tornado warnings that do get issued today. Garrett, if we can go back to a full look at the radar here. You can see how quickly these storms are coming through. We also have another severe thunderstorm warning in the northern part of our area. And we have this thunderstorm that we've been monitoring down coming into Tama County. Meteorologist Nick Stewart is watching this storm right now. And Nick, have you seen any changes with this storm? We now have a confirmed tornado down to our south. Things are going to likely happen very quickly.
Yeah, you know, within the last about 2 to 3 minutes, we've seen the storm that we're on intensify very rapidly as well. We are just south of the Brooklyn area, where we have a pretty good developing wall cloud. We'll send you outside. You can kind of see the base of that storm right there, right above those trees. It's clearing out, and it's spinning a little bit near if you kind of look at it, you can see some scud fingers that are sticking up in there. Again, so we're watching our storm very closely as well. There's nothing that's really holding this storm back compared to the one that is off to our south and east as well. So we're going to continue to watch this storm. If this storm, for whatever reason, does not want to do it, we can jump right back on 80 and intercept that tornado warning storm as it approaches the Iowa City metro area within about the next hour or two. But again, our storm for now looks very visually impressive right near the Brooklyn area, that hook, that circulation passing just west of Montezuma.
Yeah, and that's, kind of the concern that we see that lowering, and so that is kind of that first indication, as Nick was talking about. You get a wall cloud to drop down, then you get the funnel cloud to develop, and the scud fingers he was talking about are just these kind of scary-looking clouds that may look like funnel clouds, but we're looking for rotation if it would be in terms of a tornado. There's not a really tight look at the reds and the greens, but there's certainly some broad rotation ongoing, as Nick was noting that he could see there. So he's just around the Brooklyn area and looking down to the south and west at this storm. Severe thunderstorm warning still continues for this. But further down to the south is where we have the confirmed tornado going into Keokuk County right now. So let's go down to that storm, Garrett, if we can. And I know that Kaysen also posted the Skycam image that we had earlier. So still rotation ongoing here as it's coming into Keokuk County, east of Hendrick and Highway 149 and Highway 78. If it's happening right there. Kaysen, have we heard anything else from the Weather Service in terms of anything with the storm?
Just kind of tracking things out a little bit more. There haven't been a whole lot of updates. Obviously, when we were looking off the camera, a lot of people were just kind of mentioning that it still looked like there might be a little bit of a lowering with that, what was a confirmed tornado, just kind of on the ground. But other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot of other reports about that. There have been a couple of reports from emergency managers just about some hail that's been about quarter size to maybe an inch at times. So that's obviously one of the other threats we've been dealing with this storm, was a lot of high volume hail coming out of it and a lot of very large hail.
Yeah, then we've seen a lot of it. In fact, we've been seeing some images of what looks like it's literally snowing, and instead it's just hail coming down and covering the ground, and some large hail too. This storm actually had a history of producing some large hail. So there's still the possibility the hail signature is not quite as strong, but it had been producing up to baseball-sized hail around Centerville, and then we started to see the evolution as it came into this area that's been largely untouched by storms. We have high instability right now. We have a lot of warmth and moisture in place, and we have a lot of wind shear or spin in the atmosphere. That is why we have a PDS tornado watch out, and now why we are seeing at least one confirmed tornado in the area so far that is moving into Keokuk County and through Keokuk County. So, Garrett, let's zoom in on this and let's look at the velocity and kind of time out again where this storm is. We have no confirmation that the tornado is still on the ground. We're going to treat it as if it is. We at least know that the storm is capable of producing tornadoes, and we're going to keep an eye on this moving into Keokuk County right now.
Nick.
We're going to go over to Nick Stewart. What do you got, Nick?
Yeah, that's the Montezuma.
Yeah, right now we are watching a funnel cloud developing. This is just south of the Malcolm area, right near Highway 63, just south of Interstate 80. It looks like it, just as you got to me, it's starting to kind of fizzle out a little bit, but it was a very tight little needle funnel that was right above those wind turbines there. Just going to show that this storm, too, can pose a threat, but we're watching it very closely. As soon as this thing drops a tornado, we will let you know, guys. Rebecca, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Caught it right there in the beginning. I could see that there was that lowering happening. So there was a funnel cloud. I was talking about step 2 is basically funnel cloud coming down, and as soon as that makes contact, then we're talking about a tornado. So the Weather Service likely going to be keeping a close eye on that. They issued a tornado warning. They did.
Completely different cell, actually.
So they issued a tornado warning on the north side of where Nick is in Tama County.
And that's the one that Nick was looking at there.
So now we have these 2 spots we're going to be keeping an eye on. So this is south of Tama now. Tornado warning goes until 4:45, and that is just south of Highway 30. And there's a couplet there too, the bright greens and the bright reds. That is an area of concern. And then you can see Nick's image. That's further south on the storm. And you can see there where there is certainly some lowering going on. Nick, it looks like that storm's trying to pick up again. That funnel cloud is dropping low once again.
Yeah, you can see that needle right above that, right there. You can see it dropping almost right here live, right above that wind turbine. You can see that really almost upside down triangle, right? That is that funnel cloud right there. We're watching it very closely. It looks like it's trying to descend even further. Again, this is we're looking right near the Malcolm area, just south of Interstate 80. This would be about US 63. It does appear it's getting lower and lower with time. We might have a tornado here shortly. This funnel cloud is getting very, very close to the ground. It appears to be about halfway down right now. It is clearly spinning. Guys, I am almost willing to call that a tornado right now. It's very close to the ground.
I was just telling Keith and to let the Weather Service know, because we can see it coming down here. But that's clearly lowering happening right there, Nick. Are you seeing any debris getting kicked up yet?
I don't see any debris, but let me tell you, the lightning is getting more intense. There's certainly some low contrast in there as well. It does appear that at least kind of hidden in the rain, this might be on the ground right now. We're watching it very closely. It's very obvious from our perspective that this storm is very dangerous. It's spinning rapidly. We're seeing the spin visually also on camera.
Wow.
The biggest spin appears to be probably between those 2 wind turbines. That's dust. All right, confirmed tornado. You can see dust now. Confirmed tornado. You're watching it live right here on Iowa News now. Confirmed tornado right near the Malcolm area, US 63 near Malcolm. Rebecca?
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it picture-in-picture with Nick here. So this is a storm that's near the Malcolm area. You just watched a tornado form live on the air. And that storm is just to the west of Iowa County, heading toward Benton and Tama counties. We also have a warning for Tama County. So this storm, has a history of producing tornadoes. We have a confirmed tornado. The Weather Service issued the warning. There you go. That's because of Nick. So we do have a tornado on the ground. So Nick, it doesn't look like, thankfully it's in an open field at the moment. Unfortunately, it's close to the town of Brooklyn. And where that rotation is currently. But Nick, you're watching the whole evolution of a tornado happening right now. So what are you seeing in terms of kind of visually on the ground there? We're clearly seeing the tornado right now.
There's a big plume of dust getting kicked up in the air. The good news is I don't see a lot of actual debris. I don't know if it's hit any structures yet, but you can clearly see a lot of dirt that's being sucked up around this storm. That's going right through that wind turbine right now, spinning very, very clearly. Let me pan the camera a little bit right here. The good news is, as far as I can tell, it has not hit any structures yet, but I mean, you can see the mass of that column of dirt that's spinning around it. It is pretty wide. It's a pretty wide tornado, very visual as well. Again, this will be right near the Brooklyn area, approaching I-80. We are on the county road that's just south of I-80, so it's not at I-80 yet, but if you do know people that may be traveling on I-80, get them to stop if they're going westbound at the Victor exit. If they're coming eastbound, get them to stop at Grinnell. Between Grinnell and Victor, this tornado is about to cross the interstate.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, Kason, did you tell the Weather Service we have a confirmed tornado? Okay, so I'm waiting for them to update this warning here, but we do have tornado. You're watching it live. Yes, thankfully, Nick, we haven't seen it go toward any structures, but it is close to the town of Brooklyn. So let's go to Max very briefly here because I do want to show people the track of the storm. If we can take Max full, and we'll go back to Nick. We do have right to the south of Malcolm, crossing I-80, heading toward Brooklyn. Let's put the fan back on it, Garrett, so we can get some timing on it here. But these fast-moving storms going to be heading toward the Brooklyn area, 403. That's within 5 minutes. Hartwick, which is just outside of Iowa County, 409, Belle Plaine, 417, Blairstown, 425. So let's go back to that picture-in-picture with Nick. And this is going to be heading into portions of northwest Iowa County and parts of southeast Tama and then southwest Benton counties. And you can still see that there's still debris on the ground there. And we're maybe losing a little bit of visuals as the clouds are getting a little lighter in the background. But, Nick, still looks like tornado on the ground, still ongoing there as we see the dust still getting kicked up.
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell. It's starting to get a little bit more rain-wrapped, it appears. Up here, I mean, you can kind of see this RFD slot that kicks in. That's your clear air that's wrapping around, which would indicate that right in there would be your tornado. It's hard to tell if it's still in progress right now. Okay, so Scott Zimder, our photographer, he has a better view with it right now. He says it is still down, so he says the tornado is still in progress. This is basically on top of US 63, about to cross Interstate 80. Zim, I think we need to move east to get out of this RFD. Rebecca, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Nick. We do right now have tornado in progress, and it is just crossing I-80, and this is around the Brooklyn area. This also on the north side, don't want to discount this. There's also some hail ongoing. Weather Service now saying confirmed tornado. We just showed you the tornado. It's happening. Thankfully, we haven't seen any debris in the sense of it hitting any structures or any trees. Certainly some dust getting kicked up. Certainly some signs that it is it's still on the ground there. But this is a look at correlation coefficient, one of our radar products. A little hard to tell in terms of anything going on here.
Which is a good sign.
So, yes, that's a good sign that it's not, we would see a lot of these blues if it was indicating debris, but we're not seeing that, so that would be good news. If we go back actually in time, Garrett, and we look at the evolution of this storm, you can see there were some bright greens and bright reds and oranges here. Bring it back now to current time, and it's maybe getting a little bit broader, but there's still some of this bright green and bright red. So definitely do not want to discount that as the possibility of there still being a tornado on the ground. Kason, have we heard anything from the National Weather Service?
We still have, it's finally, they corrected it to now saying that it is observed, located over Brooklyn, 9 miles north of Montezuma, and obviously just moving quick to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Other than that, though, they've just finally confirmed it and got to that. So
let's do a picture-in-picture with Nick, and they are extending this warning now into portions of Benton and Iowa counties. So the spots we were just telling you about. So Nick is continuing to follow this storm to the east, and it definitely looks a lot more rain-wrapped, unfortunately, from when we were saying. I say unfortunately because we want to be able to tell you exactly what's going on. Nick, what are you seeing visually? Are you? It's a little hard to tell from the picture. Perhaps you're getting a bit better of a view.
Yeah, so give me 1 second, one more. It'll keep going straight and it'll curve left towards 80. So we're doing a little navigating here. Yeah, we can't really see it clearly from our point of view. We are kind of on the southeast side of this. It's turned into kind of an HP-looking supercell, so any potential tornado here would be wrapped in rain. I will tell you that we are in the midst of some rather intense RFD. Nothing too strong, but we're getting some pretty strong wind gusts, probably, I would guess, around 50 to 60 miles per hour there. On the backside, you can kind of see all the dust that's kind of flipping up towards the storm right now. We are about to start turning north. We're going to jump on Interstate 80, and then we're going to get a bit farther east to try and get in better position for the storm. So Brooklyn, the storm is pretty much on you right now. Hardwick, Victor, this storm is heading in your direction shortly. Ultimately, this will be start heading towards areas like Lador and Marengo as well. So we're going to kind of follow the storm northeastward as it approaches the heart of Iowa and Benton counties.
Yes, and this is going to be crossing into Iowa County here shortly as it continues to move to the east. So Nick is following that storm, and you can see that he mentioned HP, that's high precipitation. So you see that there's these two spots with tornado warnings. We have Tama County. Does not look like a very strong indication of a tornado there, which is good. But we then have these bright greens and bright reds here, indicating that tornado is likely ongoing. We're going to just say it is, because this is certainly an area of concern. Nick showed it to you earlier. That's going to be moving to the north and east. And what I want to show you is that when I put the reflectivity on, we then have these bright reds and bright pinks going on. That's indicating heavy rainfall. So when we say rain raptor, HP, high precipitation, that is an indication of some very just heavy rain ongoing that's likely preventing us from getting a view of the tornado, but then that's dangerous because we can't see it coming in and happening. I don't know, Mike, if you still have the video, the DOT camera, but let's go to that because this is important. There's a camera here. This is I-80, mile marker 192. This is absolutely what you do not want to do. You don't want to stop under an overpass. Reason why is because if a tornado comes through, we're talking about you're creating a wind tunnel, and this is going to be bad news for everyone in there. And that is just going to create more problems. So this is absolutely what you do not want to be doing. If only I could tell these people that. But this is unfortunately a situation where if people are traveling, we know people are going to be traveling. But you have to move your car, get off the road somewhere else. And if you literally see a tornado in your path, the best thing for you to do is get out of your car and actually go into a low-lying area like a ditch, because your car, just like an overpass, has this area underneath it that can easily be then flipped. An overpass is going to create a situation where you will quickly find yourself getting hurt because of a tornado coming through. It's basically creating a wind tunnel and can create a worse situation. So hopefully people move along here soon. Thankfully, it does not look like a tornado is crossing quite right in this area, but we do have still some heavy rain ongoing and could be still some strong winds. So let's go back to radar here. Let's do the picture-in-picture with Nick as well from the Road Warrior when we can, because this storm, we're saying that we're treating this like the tornado is still on the ground. As far as we know, it is. And there has been some intense rotation with this storm. We saw the tornado form, and now meteorologist Nick Stewart is continuing to follow it as it heads on to the east toward Iowa County. So just northeast of Brooklyn, likely now, going to cross into kind of this corners region of the Tama County, Iowa County, Benton County, and Poweshiek County lines.
Like these circulations are going to start kind of merging a bit, which could very quickly diminish this thing if it does happen to merge like that.
Yeah, we do have, this was kind of part of like a line of storms, one storm here, and then there were these two areas of rotation. So as they do come together, it's possible that that could end up leading to the tornado threat diminishing. But for now, we have a tornado warning confirmed. Sirens are going off in Lynn County. I just heard them here at the studio. We do not have a warning for Cedar Rapids or Lynn County right now. Let's go full on max 1 here, but let's broaden this out a little bit. The reason why the sirens are probably going off is because we have a confirmed tornado, and it is just on the edge of Lynn County here. So they may be doing this just as a precaution ahead of time. And the fact these storms are moving very fast. How fast are they moving, Garrett? How fast was there saying?
Last I saw was, I believe, around 55 miles an hour. Let me double check that one. 65, sorry. I am
65 miles per hour. So let's take a track on this storm here and say 65 miles per hour. And we can take it into Lynn County too. And we can show at least the trajectory of what that would be. And this would be Belle Plaine at 4:19. That's within the next 10 minutes. Newhall at 4:33. And then Cedar Rapids area, Central City, northwestern portions of Lynn County would be between we'll call it 4:40 and 4:50. And then, of course, it continues to the east. That's all things depending on how this ends up going. I want to mention every town that I named does not mean that that's where the tornado is going, but there is a threat of seeing this thunderstorm come on in. And we do have, as we've been talking about, some very high precipitation rates. Garrett, I mean, this is some very heavy rain that's likely going to block our view from being able to see this tornado. Absolutely, yeah. You're looking at almost, again, this is where radar estimated, and if this cell were to just sit there for the next hour, you would be expecting between 2 to 3.5 inches of rainfall within an hour. And again, these are moving rapidly, so you're not going to actually pick up that 3-inch rainfall, but that is still indicating a lot of rainfall, which is where the HP comes from, that high precipitation. You get a lot of that, which makes that visibility very, very difficult, especially with the rotation. Yes. Let's go down to the south with the tornado warning. And Mike, you can throw that picture up. We have a picture of from around the Richmond area of this, which does look like could potentially be a tornado on the ground. And look at the velocity on this storm now. This is for Iowa County and just around Washington County. So there's certainly, it might be a little tough with the, we're kind of just in between radars here, but there's definitely rotation ongoing right around Highway 92, and we've seen this storm before already produce a tornado. So the Weather Service is saying it's confirmed, and this is a new warning that's now been put out that extends into portions of Iowa and Johnson counties. And this is not including Iowa City and North Liberty just yet, but could. So Harper, basically coming in there right now, Kinross 418, Wellman around 423, Tiffin 438, and then toward Iowa City, North Liberty around 440. So one on the southeast side of Iowa County. Kaysen, have you heard any information about this storm? They're still saying this is the Keokuk County. They're saying tornado confirmed still.
Yeah, trying to monitor National Weather Service chat when it does not work out
It's been
down very well. But
open this one down here. Let's see if they're saying anything.
I want to continue with this too while they are figuring that out for the time being. It's just a couple of safety reminders too for those who do have those sirens going off. A couple of good things too. Just remember, making sure you are in your safe place. We've been talking about it all week with it being Severe Weather Awareness Week, being sure you're going through your severe weather plans, making sure if you have not put that together, well, now would be a really good time to be actually exercising something at least. And first step would obviously be seeking shelter. If you are within that path and at least hearing those sirens going off for the time being, that's going to be within your basement, interior walls. If you can within your home, stay away from those exterior walls, away from the windows, and especially for those of you in apartments, lowest levels, stay away from those exterior walls. Same kind of thing, kind of like a house too, and just get to the lowest level that you can, especially for those of you in the apartments and whatnot.
Absolutely. And this is especially as the situation has been rapidly evolving. Garrett, let's go to the broad view. Let's stay wide for a second. Okay. Let's pause the radar and take the lightning off. Yes. So we have multiple tornado warnings ongoing right now. We have a confirmed tornado near Keota. We just got word from the National Weather Service from a spotter there. Confirmed tornado near Keota, and that is in Keokuk County, heading into southeastern Iowa County and southwestern Johnson County, could potentially clip portions of western Washington County. We then have the tornado that Nick brought us that is coming into portions of northwest Iowa County, Benton County, and could potentially continue into Lynn County. And then the Weather Service is continuing another warning that is up near Tama and is moving into Benton County there as well. We do right now have, is there something new coming in, Kaysen?
Yeah, obviously that The tornado is observed for Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, and Washington. That specific storm that's moving up. This is just 2 minutes ago. Confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located over Harper, or it's 10 miles east of Sigourney, and this is moving north. Sigourney, excuse me.
So that's our.
And they have here, the National Weather Service, reports indicate that there's possibly 2 tornadoes on the ground in the area.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the storm we're talking about.
That would explain the messy signature.
Yeah, we've been having a hard time kind of adjusting. So you can kind of see these 2 spots here, potentially, where we're seeing some rotation. There's kind of this broad area, and potentially over here, too. So this is, there's confirmed that we got word Keota. So possibly 2 tornadoes on the ground. We're going to treat it like there's 2 tornadoes on the ground right now. This is Keokuk County. It's northeast of Sigourney. We've been talking about this area for a while. Highway 159 and moving just to the west of Keota, and then moving to the north and east into portions of Iowa and potentially Johnson counties. Let's zoom in here, Garrett, around the Keota area and check if there's some more cities in here that we can kind of point out. But this would be around Harper. So the city of Harper is basically right in between these 2 signatures. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we unfortunately hear about some damage coming out of the Harper area. Highway 159 in between Sigourney and Keota. If you know of anyone in this area, you want to make sure that they're aware of at least the tornadoes on the ground, possibly 2.
That is confirmed, 2 tornadoes on the ground.
They're confirming 2 tornadoes on the ground. Now, moving through Keokuk County, so North English, Kinross, Wellman, Keota, Harper, you better already be in your safe place, and this is going to continue to move to the north and east for this tornado warning, and then we're watching areas like Parnell and southwestern portions of Johnson County. So this area, let's go down to the south here, where we have Highway 159 in Harper, and this is going to quickly cross Highway 159, and we have 2 of them, right, that are on the ground here. They're confirming that, and it's going to be a little tough to see the signature of the tornado, but we're going to be just assuming that in this area around Highway 159 that we have the 2 tornadoes on the ground. That's going to be then heading toward Highway 22, South English, between South English and Wellman. So if you're in South English or Wellman, North English, Parnell, you want to be in your safe space right now because the storm is moving incredibly fast. It is likely going to be difficult to see. If we have that photo from you had earlier around Richmond, or that you said, Mike, there we go. So this is at least one of the tornadoes that was seen from Washington County, and that is a large tornado, and there's another one. This is a situation you cannot go out and try and look at this thing. It is going to come through so fast. You need to be in your safe space right now, in the basement, in the lowest level of your home. Go. What is up?
I was saying, Nick was saying go to the Corville camera, which I do believe Kason is pulling up. Should be on Max when I pull it up on that computer, Kason.
Let's go back to Max here. And we have then this area of concern to the north, where meteorologist Nick Stewart is, and he had been keeping an eye on this storm that is moving through into now Benton County. And Nick, do you have any other information about anything that you've seen with this storm?
Yeah, what I can tell you is that we haven't seen any reports of damage right in the vicinity of Malcolm or Brooklyn, which is very good news. When we were watching that tornado, it didn't appear that there was any large flying debris in the air. Right now, we are on Interstate 80. We are heading eastbound. We're trying to beat this storm that is approaching the Iowa City metro area as it moves through portions of Keokuk and Washington counties. I got to tell you that we're going to be cutting it a little closer. We're, of course, going to play things very, very safely. Coming in either in front of it or behind it, depending on where we're at in relation to the storm at the time. The storms, I can tell you, off to our northwest, they have all kind of congealed into a big line. This appears to be more of a wind threat up that way. Don't want to discount the tornado threat entirely just due to the amount of wind shear in place, but I do think we're starting to transition more into a wind threat up that way, while ahead of us, as we approach Johnson County, Washington County, and Keokuk County, the main threat will be, of course, the large and extremely dangerous tornado which has been reported approaching that area. Rebecca?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is something that we were concerned about, was the fact that we could have multiple tornadoes. And we not only have multiple tornado warnings that are ongoing, but we have confirmation of 2 tornadoes ongoing at the same time. And this is around the Kyoto area, Harper, South English, Kinross, North English, Wellman. These are the locations that could be impacted by a large tornado. Garrett, let's go to the correlation coefficient and see if we can pick out anything in terms of debris. This gives us an indication.
It's a muddy picture.
Yeah. So it's a little hard to tell, but you'd be looking at blues that would indicate, maybe if you catch the Des Moines radar.
Yeah.
And see if you can slide it off and see if we can maybe see. I mean, there's some blues showing up there and some greens. It's hard to say if that is certainly debris, but based on the image we were seeing of the large tornado, it is possible that in those spots we do have debris, unfortunately, which would mean pieces of trees, homes, whatever it was in its path, farms, anything like that could potentially be lofted up, and that is why you need to take this seriously. It is going to be kind of difficult to pinpoint those.
Actually, you can kind of see a little bit near Kyoto and then south of that North English area.
Right. It's going to be a little tough. But we are going to just assume this entire area. We need to really keep an eye on here between Kyoto and North English. So this is an observed tornado. It is 2 tornadoes that have been ongoing that the Weather Service has confirmed in portions of Keokuk County here into Iowa County, Johnson County, and then this is right on the line of Washington County, so northwest Washington County. And these areas, North English, Kyoto, Wellman, you need to be in your safe place now. These storms are moving very fast, and we have seen rapid development from these storms as well as a fast motion to them that is going to lead to the potential for these tornadoes to come through very quickly, and they may also be hard to see. If we can switch back to the reflectivity too.
I do want to add too, there was a latest report as of about 4:18 where there's still 2 tornadoes on the ground just west of Kyoto, so it's likely those 2 pockets of circulation we were looking at. The Kyoto one itself looks a little more consistent, but again, that North English.
I'm not sure if it's there or if it's maybe a little bit closer. It's really hard to tell. That signature, though, unfortunately, is very close to Kyoto. So we can really hope that that's not right in town. But this is would be north of, or possibly just to the west of Kyoto. But this would be possibly rain-wrapped. There's a time when we may be able to see, to the north here. We can. Oh, there we go. Now the latest radar image. There we go. We can see that signature a bit better.
Spike there too.
So that is where you're going to see the rotation, the tornado on the ground, and perhaps the second one to the west. That the Weather Service, within the last couple of minutes, still saying confirmed 2 ongoing tornadoes right here around Kyoto, heading now into Washington County and around the Wellman area going across Highway 22.
I'm going to go ahead and pop up the correlation coefficient again, just kind of rule out yet. So that little spiking signature you're seeing here again, usually an indication of possibly hail and or, unfortunately, debris in this instance, and that's sort of the thing you really don't want to see, especially when you're dropping into those blues. That is usually when you consider those darker colors. Those darker blue colors is when you start shifting more towards that debris signature. And unfortunately, when you combine that with the rotation that is fairly evident just off towards the north of Kyoto now, yeah, that would be what I would consider probably debris being lofted at that point. Even looking at the radar itself, make sure I'm popping up the right one here, turn that lightning off. Still some pretty high values of reflectivity, these purples that you're seeing right along here. That would be what you would consider a hail core, but normally, based on where the radar is positioned, you would see these hail spikes on the back end of things, something like right about there, but it's not. It's actually out ahead of where that little hooking shape is, which is most likely indicating that that area of circulation now is just off towards the north side of the Kyoto area. So for
and the Weather Service is saying 1 tornado now.
Now to 1 tornado. That would make sense.
So they're saying 1 tornado. And we've seen pictures of large destructive tornadoes. Throw up the picture of the tornado. Okay, so yeah, you can definitely see one on the right side, much larger, and one on the left side that's a little bit thinner.
Absolutely.
That's
two.
2 tornadoes.
Wow.
So that is what was ongoing, and those are typically, so there you can see, wow. You can see this wrapping around of the clouds within the tornado. That is a large tornado, and unfortunately looks like close to town there, but it's hard to say how close, that it's off in the distance, but quite the structure with that tornado there. And you can see the vertically wrapped cloud around the storm, indicating just the inflow and the rotation with that storm. So that's at least one of them. And then there was a second for a time. So the Weather Service is saying that we're down to 1. And that would be north of Keota, heading very close to Wellman. A situation that we can see things change very quickly. When you have 2 dual tornadoes, that's typically pretty difficult to sustain that sort of energy. And this is for portions of Washington, Johnson, Iowa counties. Getting out of Keokuk County now, Wellman is the area of concern right now. So this has been 1 tornado. This had been 2 tornadoes previously. Now we're down to 1. We have additional tornado warnings to the north and west. I don't want to discount the fact that we do still have a tornado on the ground. If you're in Wellman, the tornado is coming to you, and you need to be in your safe place. We then have this mess of tornado warnings to our north. We have
60 miles an hour.
60 miles per hour for the storms. We have multiple tornado warnings. Could be 6 too. We have one that's confirmed, which was the one that Nick was on earlier. And we have some rotation that's just southwest of Vinton right now. We do have areas like Newhall, Norway, Belle Plaine under tornado warnings. I don't want to discount you. We haven't seen much information out of these so far. And we are going to continue to see if the Weather Service has anything that's coming in. They have dime-sized hail west of Coggin, which is getting into northwestern portions of Lynn County. Tornado on the ground heading to Kelowna, and no power in Wellman. So Wellman's already seen power get knocked out. And this is continuing to move then toward Wellman.
Right, okay.
This is crossing into Highway 22 in Washington County. And this is going to come very close to the town of Wellman. Apparently Wellman already doesn't have power, but if you know anyone in Wellman and you can text them or call them, their cell phone should still hopefully work, and make sure they're in their safe place. If you know anyone traveling down this way, and this is then going to push into portions of Johnson County, Amish, Windham, Tiffin. And this would be just to the south of I-80 and near Highway 22. And this has been a large tornado we've seen multiple times. We've had indications of the storm producing a tornado, and we have had tornado warnings with the storm for about 2 hours now since it came out of Ottumwa, and it has been continuing to move to the north and east, and there is still indication that the tornado is on the ground. There's a spotter on this storm, so we're going to know once it does lift, but very close to the town of Wellman, and still kind of a muddy picture on velocity here, but we do have rotation still ongoing, and a storm chaser who is on the storm saying that there is still a tornado on the ground. It has been large and destructive, heading toward Wellman area, may end up just to the west, but if you're in Wellman or anywhere around it, make sure that you are sheltering right now. The storm's going to quickly then cross into the southern portions of Iowa and Johnson counties, just to the south of I-80. So if you know anyone traveling on 80 right now, that's also somewhere that we need to be getting off of I-80 and getting to shelter, because this storm's going to continue to push to the north and east. It's not to say that it's going to stay on the ground, but when we are talking about, it has now been extended. When we're talking about the situation we're in today, we have a PDS, particularly dangerous situation tornado watch issued. This is for long-lived, intense tornadoes. This could be that situation. We can hope it's not. But it hopefully is not the situation, but we now have this tornado warning extending into North Liberty, Iowa City, and Johnson County. Nick, what's going on?
Yeah, right now we're heading eastbound on I-80. We are approaching the Oxford area at this hour. We're definitely thinking we're going to get ahead of the storm in time before it approaches Iowa City, so we'll be able to give Iowa City kind of a good idea of what's going on. What I can tell you is that we are watching debris falling from the sky right now. I've been able to see a few piece of debris flying on our windshield. Our wipers are kind of clearing some of that debris, just as another indication that this did produce a pretty significant tornado off to our south. We are getting debris falling out of the sky along I-80 near Oxford. Rebecca.
I can see it. I can see it flying at your car. Yeah, that is a very unfortunate situation because that is, you can see the debris on west of Wellman. There is a large tornado that's ongoing. You can see debris getting tossed where Nick is. You can see debris that's been getting tossed to the north. But there's definitely that area around Wellman where there is
the debris of the road
that has been picked up, and it's indicated on radar. It can tell if it's precipitation or if it's debris.
I think we're going to beat the tail core. We should be good.
So, yeah, Nick, you're saying there's some debris that's on the road there?
Yeah, we're seeing, it looks like kind of agricultural debris, like, some stuff that was left in fields from the harvest.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, corn stalks, exactly. Corn stalks and leaves and things like that. That's the kind of material that we're seeing right now.
And that's at least good in the sense that hopefully that's all that it is. But unfortunately, very close to Keota and Wellman has the storm come through. And, of course, we know that there are still farms out there. There are still homes that are in those more open areas. Kaysen, have we heard anything from the Weather Service in terms of damage?
I have not seen any reports from them, at least right now, in terms of damage. I've been looking also on social media just to see kind of some of, obviously, the emergency managers in that area. I have not seen any reports, at least at this time, of damage, but we do have those reports that it continues to be on the ground at this time, and it's large and extremely dangerous, even if it is maybe a little bit rain-wrapped or whatnot if you can't see it. So that
makes it even more...
to see a lot of the same stuff for right now.
And the fact that Nick is still seeing debris getting tossed as far away as he is, that is an indication that this is likely still ongoing. And it may be tough to see. This is not something that you want to be standing